You got to love the corporate press taking things out of context or pushing them to their most extreme. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been on a tirade saying they can control the weather. Wired puts they in quotes as if to imply the Jews, when Marjorie Taylor Greene was literally just referring to the powers that be, which includes corporations, special interests, governments, military. Let me just pause for a second, my friends, and tell you definitively that it is entirely possible to manipulate the weather using science and technology. It has been done for a very long time. Operation Popeye was an operation in Vietnam where, without approval, CIA was trying to make it rain over the Ho Chi Minh Trail because they wanted to have the rain wash out roads and make it more difficult for the communists to mobilize. Now, the question is, can you make hurricanes? I don't think so. And I got to tell you, my friends, while certainly that may be the implication that many people on the right are posting right now, we'll talk about this. I see you, Luke Rudkowski, posting on X. Do you think they can control the weather? I know what you're trying to say. Nobody's bringing this up in the context of a major Category 5 hurricane about to slam into Florida just after a hurricane slammed into North Carolina, Florida, Atlanta, South Carolina. And they're saying there's another hurricane that could slam in after Milton, Nadine. Okay, no one's saying this stuff right now to avoid the implication they think the government or some powerful interest or military is attacking us with hurricanes. I'll just put it this way. Guys, maybe. But I'm more inclined to believe that we just live in a constructed universe. And I say constructed because atheists are going to call it a simulation and Christians are going to say it's divine mandate, it's God's plan. Whatever it is, we'll call it God's plan or constructed. Like the idea that a month from the election, with early voting happening now, two crucial swing states would get slammed into by a hurricane, wiping out Republican strongholds. It's just the odds must be astronomical. Certainly. And then another hurricane forms in the Gulf, which is extremely rare, and starts heading east. Normally, hurricanes form off the coast of West Africa and start moving westward as they slam into the Gulf and this area. They strengthen over the ocean. We saw that from the Gulf, and it's possible. It's happened before, but it's rare. So here we go. I love the first thing they do in that they try to make it seem like people on the right who are bringing this up are talking about Jews. But let's do this. The New Republic. MTG's dumb hurricane conspiracy takes on a sinister new twist. A sinister one, huh? Oh, sinister. Marjorie Taylor Greene's claim that they can control the weather was a dog whistle to anti-Semites everywhere. Oh, they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. It looks like anti-Semites are really latching on to Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene's conspiracy theory about Hurricane Helene. In the aftermath of the Category 4 storm, Jewish government officials have been targeted by anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, according to The Forward, a national Jewish media outlet. Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, Asheville Mayor Esther Mannheimer, and FEMA spokesperson Jacqueline Rothenberg have become targets of anti-Semitic abuse online. Now, what they're doing is they're connecting Marjorie Taylor Greene posting that weather control is real to the fact that anti-Semites attack people online. We do not know that they are related. Last week, Greene amplified a right-wing conspiracy theory that the government may have manufactured the deadly hurricane. Quote, yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done. She also seemed to imply that the government had been targeting Republican areas, which Donald Trump also suggested. I don't know that that's actually true, that Trump suggested that they're making hurricanes to target Republican areas, but I don't know, whatever. Not only is this theory outrageously anti-science, but it's also built on an explicitly anti-Semitic trope. Notably, Greene's outlandish suggestion that lacks any semblance of reason. I'm going to pause there for a minute. What Marjorie Taylor Greene is proposing is within the realm of possibility. She's not saying that leprechauns emerged from a rainbow and started casting curses upon the land. She's saying that we have weather manipulation technology, and there's an insinuation that hurricanes could be formed with that. Now, I believe she's incorrect, but it is certainly possible to manipulate weather. She's not wrong about that. She's also certainly not claiming Jews are doing it. They just love to do that because they have no real rebuttal. I'll give you a real rebuttal, and I'll be honest about it. Weather manipulation is real, but at this scale is an absurdity. Now, it's possible the military has technology that we don't know about, and they're much more advanced. They wouldn't tell us. The nuclear bomb was compartmentalized in the Manhattan Project. Hundreds of thousands of people worked on it. No one knew exactly what it was going to be. I've got the Life magazines. I have a big Life magazine collection. They're thinking it could be a death laser. It could be warships. It could be flying, big aircraft carriers in the sky or something. Some thought it could be a doomsday weapon. They weren't entirely sure. Information was getting out, but it was compartmentalized. That's a possibility. That being said, this hurricane, as far as I understand, is like, what is it, like 70 or 80 or how many miles wide? Let's pull this up. How many miles wide is Milton? 100? What do they say? It's the eye of the storm is 4 miles wide, and the hurricane itself is 22 miles wide. Okay, 22 miles. Look, Trump suggested, I don't know if this is true, but there's like a story where apparently like Trump was like, why don't we nuke this hurricane? And they were like, that would do nothing. The nuclear bomb would not put a dent in this massive 30-mile wide storm. I do not believe, even with whatever we have, we are going to have the energy output capabilities to create a storm of this magnitude. Now, I do think there's the possibility of seeding the beginnings of a storm or a depression. I don't think that's possible. You need what you need to make a hurricane involves all of the surrounding areas, and to direct it requires all the surrounding areas. Meaning, when the hurricane starts moving in a direction, it's because all of the winds surrounding it are creating a path for this based on high and low pressure. So if you want to believe that the U.S. government or somebody is controlling the weather to the point where they're creating hurricanes, you'd have to believe that they're controlling an entire hemispheres of wind patterns. And that's basically, in turn, the whole planet's wind patterns. Certainly, there's some you could consider they can heat up an area, maybe. No, they're not going to heat up 50 miles of ocean to create the conditions to create a hurricane. I just don't believe that's reality. I've seen powerful lasers. We've seen the laser-induced plasma channel. That's where they have an artillery that can shoot a lightning bolt at you. We've seen amazing things, but the energy required to create a hurricane is tremendous. And a nuclear bomb doesn't even come close. My friends, I do not believe it's reality. But it would be stupid to try and claim that Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about the Jews. So not interested in your ridiculous, garbled, fake news lies. Okay. That being said, let's talk about weather manipulation warfare. It's real. Operation Popeye, as I mentioned. It was a military cloud seeding project carried out by the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War. The highly classified program attempted to extend the monsoon season over specific areas of the Ho Chi Minh Trail to disrupt North Vietnamese military supplies by softening road surfaces and causing landslides. The chemical weather modification was conducted from Thailand over Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, and allegedly sponsored by Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and the CIA, without the authorization of then Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird, who had categorically denied to Congress the program for modification of weather for use as a tactical weapon ever existed. It does. I also want to point out that The Guardian reported 13 years ago, firing laser beams into the sky could make it rain. Making it rain is not a hurricane. And laser-induced cloud seeding has been well known for some time. I was covering this. We were looking at stories for Vice back when I was there. This is a couple years later. Well known that University of Geneva had done things like this. Cloud seeding has been around for since the 50s. They use silver iodide to cause the water particles in the atmosphere to condense, creating clouds, and then it rains. In Dubai recently, they had major flooding because they overdid it. Now, if you were to come and tell me that a major storm flooded a region and it rained for like 3 weeks and then said you saw planes that were dispersing chemicals or whatever, I'd say cloud seeding's real. But if you want to claim that one of the most powerful hurricanes we've ever seen in this region was created by some nefarious group, I'm just going to say, guys, I don't believe it. I just don't. I don't think there's anything wrong with speculating, asking questions about weather modification and weaponry, and I think it is the utmost absurdity for the media to claim Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about the Jews. But let's just, I don't buy it. Sorry, guys. I know, and a lot of people may want to believe that it's true. Believe whatever you want to believe. Tell me I'm wrong, because I have people coming out and saying, "What about this report? What about that report?" But creating a hurricane? Nah. I'll tell you this. I believe God is real. I know, and now the atheists are yelling at me. The conspiracy theorist Christians are like, Tim, you are wrong. And then the atheist Stoics and pragmatists are like, indeed, Tim, on their corncob pipes. And then I say, but God is real. And then the atheists are like, we're out. And then the conspiracy Christians are like, keep going, Tim. I believe that God is real. I'm not a Christian, though. I do believe that we live in a universe of purpose, and there is some sort of design, there is some sort of reason for existence. And I think it's fair to say that when you look around at things, and based on the math that we see, you sometimes start to feel like it's not chance. Like, how could this be reality? How could so many historically unprecedented things occur in such a short time? It defies reason, but not really. Mathematicians and pragmatists will just say, no, it is within the realm of probability that these things do occur. And I just say this, sure, but I believe things have averages and tendencies, and I don't believe that we're at the high end of the bell curve for 5, 6, 7, 8 years straight. Well, but it could, no, spare me. It is too fantastical. These things seem too out of the ordinary. The reason why people want to divert towards conspiratorial thinking about the manufacturing of hurricanes is because what are the odds that a hurricane slams into 2 swing states during the election, like we're in election month. I know it's stupid to have an election month, but we are. Then another one forms in the Gulf, the strongest we've seen, and it's going to slam into Florida. And now they're saying another hurricane, I think they're calling it Nadine, has a 20% chance of forming and then slamming the other direction into Florida. What are the chances? You won the lottery 3 times. So people just say, I don't believe it. I say this, look, I believe it is within the realms of math and probability that these things happen, but it is beyond what we would expect probabilistically. And it would be akin okay, maybe not. But as math goes, they say, over a long enough period of time, all of the oxygen in a room will move to one side. Sure, over 800 billion years? Maybe. What are the chances? How many millions of years to see something like this occur? In which I say, we are truly living in interesting times, and I believe there is something greater beyond us. I don't believe it is humans controlling the weather. I think it is just the nature of the reality that we live in for the purpose that we live in it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm allowed to be, and you're allowed to be wrong as well, and you're also allowed to tell me I'm wrong, and that's the way we do things. But in the meantime, yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but I don't think they're making hurricanes. We'll wrap it up there. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. I don't know, share the show on YouTube, do whatever you got to do. We'll jump now into the next story about FEMA's disaster equity. So that'll be the next segment coming up for everybody else watching live. We're going to grab a couple super chats before jumping into the story.